Using the Z-Lite Pump and the aerosol cassette is a great way to determine the kinds of mold in the air and their concentration. The Z-Lite is a small AC-powered indoor air quality sampling pump that allows you to sample mold in the air. The Z-Lite can be used with Zephon aerosol sampling devices or almost any other IAQ sampling device on the market. The aerosol consists of a clear, sealed polycarbonate case containing a glass slide with sticky media to capture spores out of the air. It is convenient and easy to use to find hidden reservoirs and concentrations of mold and what kinds of mold spores are in the air. Aerosol samples cannot determine the viability of mold spores, only the kind and concentration of mold in the air. Aerosol samples should be taken with clean hands. At least once a year, your Z-Lite pump should be sent to Inspector Lab to be calibrated with a NIST primary calibrator. Inspector Lab will calibrate your pump and send a certificate of calibration with the pump back to you. The calibration certificate is also posted to the web at the web address shown on the screen below. The recommended flow rate for sampling with aerosols is 15 liters per minute. Flow rates that differ from this are likely to have a low number of spores, overcollection of spores, and irregular accumulation of spores. The sampling time should normally be 10 minutes. However, if the area being sampled is dusty, shorter times may be warranted. Dusty areas can be sampled for 5 minutes or even 1 minute if the area is extremely dusty. Consult with Inspector Lab about different sampling times and conditions. Always take a control sample outside. Outdoor air is considered normal and healthy and represents a baseline for interpretation of the indoor samples. When possible, take the outside sample first to prevent any amplification of spores from the inside getting into the outside sample. To begin taking an aerosol sample, make sure your clothes and hands are dust-free. Dust off your clothes and then wash your hands with soap and water, disinfectant gel, or with an alcohol towelette to remove dust and spores that may have collected on your hands while doing an inspection. Set aside an aerosol for calibration that is only used for field calibrations. Place the field calibration aerosol on the end of the plastic tubing of 5 feet or less in length. Make sure there is a firm connection to the cassette and the ridged connector on the flow meter connected to the pump. Place the plastic tubing through the hole at the top of the tripod. Make sure the aerosol is between 3 to 6 feet above the ground before you sample. Turn on the pump and rotate the black knob on the flow meter until the middle of the silver metal bead is at the calibration line on the flow meter. If Inspector Lab calibrated your pump, this line is orange and may not correspond with the 15 on the flow meter indicator. Refer to the calibration letter you received when your pump was calibrated. Once you have the field calibration set, record the time, date, and flow rate in your field calibration logbook and sign it. This will serve as your proof of field calibration. You should keep a logbook every time you field calibrate your pump. A field calibration is calibrating your pump to the flow meter each time you take a sample. Once the field calibration is completed, you can take your first sample. Remove the white tabs from both ends of the aerosol. These white tabs can be used to seal the top and bottom after sampling if desired, but it is not critical. Make sure that you note the airflow direction on the side of the aerosol and attach the aerosol to the plastic tubing with the airflow direction arrow pointing towards the pump. This is the round orifice. Turn on the pump and take your sample. Turn off the pump and remove the aerosol and place the white tabs back over the top and bottom of the cassette. Fill out the chain of custody with the serial number from the aerosol, location, and total volume sampled. You can also do this in the Inspector Lab mobile application.